So today, Fiona is having a reality check. She's like, okay, if you want to be this new person and you want to do all this cool stuff, you've been really busy in working on your websites and creating films and all that kind of stuff. So, who would this person be in real life, in your ideal thinking, your ideal character as you're making a story and you want to start a new life? I mean, I've been through a funk. I have gone through a lot of stuff. First, I lost my twin almost 4 years ago, and that put me in such a rut. I was so happy, but I chose, I guess you would say, I guess if I was to narrow it right down, I chose an extremely time-consuming, life-sucking job that stole every minute of my time for 5 months, because it was good, but and I liked that I could have 5 solid months of putting in a year's of work, maybe more, because it wasn't 13 hours. It always ended up being 15 hours at least. So, and that was the end. The beginning was even worse. So I had chose that over my twin. My twin wanted me to make a change, and he wanted to do other things and travel, and I wanted to buy a property, and I'm glad I did. But if I was to go back, I can still remember the day at the end of the road where we hugged on my last encounter with him to go to this job, and I wish I could change that. I really do. And then time passed, and my companion, the owl, my best friend for 6 years, who got me through a lot of the hard times and was there for me always and loved me, just loved me for who I was. And at least I had 5 months with him, when we were both single and decided to share some time together. Sometimes I think that was my purpose. My purpose was to give him the last best 5 months. And anyways, death is a difficult thing. Um, I don't even know if I recovered from those 3 years. I still hurt from it. When you meet somebody who you love more than anything in the world, and you lose that person. I mean, I think that was the first time in my life I was truly in love with somebody, and truly, I found the perfect person. I don't think I could have ever found a better match. He erased everything in my past, and made everything present. But I still had this thing about, we need land and we need to build a kingdom to live on and hopefully escape all this. Pay it off and then just pay taxes and live off the land and be happy. And I had a river for him to do martial arts, and us to build a spiritual retreat and a coven. And but that wasn't in play when he left. So I might not have that if we continued, who knows? But the vision was in my head that I had to pursue it prior to his leaving. So everything for a reason, I guess. And who knows where I'd be right now. And sometimes I worry about my direction. This is that I've done everything and worked so hard, and what was it for? And am I even going to be able to follow through on my dream? So today is, I wanted to make a really big change. So in order to make that big change, how to deal with somebody dying? Well, that was difficult. This person had put in my head so strongly so many plans and so many things that they were, and because they were done in love and genuine sincerity, that took a lot for me that I couldn't change them, because there was a reason that this person came in my life, and there was a reason why we went through that process. Just like my time with him, I was probably there for his transition and I didn't even know it, and maybe I was the right person for that transition. But it doesn't matter. One thing I do know is sometimes I feel that person never experienced love and affection, and I definitely gave my heart and put it all in. I mean, I know I still talk about my twin. That will always be in my heart. But I was present at the time, and it was genuine and real, and um, and I was really shifting and trying to make a change, and so was he. He was in a time of change too. Lots of things had gone on, and he was downsizing and trying to tidy up loose ends, um, and winter here, and my teeth, and you know, I sometimes wish we would have waited till spring, and then I would think now I wouldn't have even had the chance. But who knows? Maybe things would have been different. If that person might have lived in town until spring, and I had time to get this house ready, and maybe they would have. Yeah, he was a week away from going to the doctor too, to follow up on something. I don't know, but everything, but then again, things happen on their course, so I can't look at things that way. But getting back to who is this new character? Well, that person helped me create this new character that I already had in my mind for a couple of years. And what I did to get through the death was I decided I was going to leave this place where I live. And so I was going to change everything you talked about. I even looked for a new job, and I was offered a new job, and it was just as good of money as I was making. And I was offered a car, and like that I could use for my personal use, and everything paid for, and an office, and so much responsibility, and higher management, and that really gave me confidence, and it affirmed what the owl had said. Like, not that I needed that, but sometimes you do need that. And the person really wanted to make me a partner, not to be some minion just running around doing all the dirty dog work, and not being talked to or appreciated so much, or just talked to when I need something. That person actually wanted to grow into a thriving, striving, give me a division of the company, which was really cool and made me feel really, I don't know, it made me feel like valuable, you know, really valuable. Sometimes that it's not like I have an ego trip, but to be listened to and valued, that makes a big difference, you know. Not just here's your job, and don't bug me. Like that's okay in the beginning when you're so busy learning something, but after you know your job really well, you need something to make you feel fulfilled. So, and that person that I had the interview with talked about a lot of things like Robert did, which was, and his name was Robert too. That was pretty cool. He told me about a lot of stuff that he used to do online. He asked me about my past experience and stuff that I know how to do, and he was telling me, yeah, I started selling honey online, and then I got into this chocolate and what other, yeah, he did a lot of crazy things, and they did really well. And now this person is doing all kinds of different labor things that are of high need. That I don't know how to explain it. Yard work and cleaning and organizing things people have trouble with, and it's just too much for them to deal with. And I get that, because this is where I'm going today. Where I'm thinking of my character, well, I've been overwhelmed and let a lot of shit go. And I wouldn't even say since Robert's death. I mean, I cleaned most of the house up before he moved in here with me. But there's a lot of stuff that I just forgot about for 3 years. Didn't want to. I went through, I didn't, I don't know what happened to me. I was so high, and then I fell to such a low. And then there's some other changes too, that transformation. I don't even want to get into that, but not alone losing a partner, but not knowing what's going on with your being and your body, and then a year later, I guess menopause started. So I know that wasn't part of my transformation, but some weird stuff, and I have encounters with paranormal and things like that. But so I started really thinking, how do I get out of a rut, and how do I change? And I'm not going to let this do what happened when I lost my twin, because he wouldn't want that. The owl wouldn't want that. The owl would want me to be proud and continue on, and he'd want to be proud. So I decided to keep going with what we talked about in my ability. And he always believed in me. So he told me, you have great potential, and you can do so much more than what you're doing. He goes, that's like a drop compared to what is possible. He and I know that too. But sometimes we just pick things because they're easier. But easier is not easy. Easier appears easier, but you keep doing it, and 6 years later, it takes a toll on you. So sometimes doing the harder thing, investing in yourself and using your brain and writing and trying to get past the fear of how to get by until you get to where you need to be. That's a biggie. When he was around, I always had that stability. He always told me, I'll support anything you do, and I would never take advantage of his kindness. And he was always upset about that. How come you won't let me help you? Because it's important to me that I do it myself and I grow. And when I was talking about the recipes in life, like a recipe of cooking, is that if you don't figure out how to do something from the start to finish, and somebody's helping you, maybe too much sometimes, you don't learn the recipe like the back of your hand, like, even then if something happens to them, because you are so in a habit of doing something a certain way and forgetting about their part in the thing, you'll wonder why maybe it doesn't work. Just like a lot of kids who inherit their family business, all of a sudden it goes for shit because they didn't learn the inner workings of what they were taking over and what it took to get there. So That's what I try to explain. And that's why it's so important that I do something from scratch. And I learned a lot when I was at my old job and some of the other jobs that I had. And I always pretended it was my business, and it was my business to learn the business, because someday that would help my future. And I have run businesses in the past too, and I was not too bad at it, but I never knew how to get to the point um, where like hiring people and giving delegating. So I know I have two issues in life, and that is in relationships and in growing bigger than myself, my own ability to handle something. And I'm trusting that people will get the work done. I've seen too many times people take advantage as soon as the authority person's away, they just slack off and do nothing, and they don't care. They don't make it their own. They could care less. And sometimes I think some of these people should um, run their own business for a year before they go work for somebody, because they would know what it took for that business owner to get where he is, to offer them a job, you know. Um, it's not easy running your own business, uh, and then you're taking money away from yourself, hoping that to free up your time if you're sick, or if you're it's just too much for you to handle. You can't do everything, and then people not doing what they um, were hired to do is frustrating. It's really frustrating. That's why I'm afraid of it, because I see it all around me, and I don't know why people don't have pride and work ethic. And if they have that kind of attitude, well, then maybe they should go out and start their own business before they go in and destroy somebody else's. Plus, there's some really scrupulous people out there too that do some really awful things to business owners. They do things to them in their absence, even embezzlement, and it's just insane. The stories that I've heard make a person go, "How can you keep doing what you're doing when knowing all these things that can happen?" But that's like the system. It just takes a few bad apples to ruin everything for everybody. And so today is about what would Fiona Blackstar really be like if I was trying to be her completely. Well, first, her house wouldn't look the way it does. I have let this place go. It used to be a showroom. I used to make it like an art gallery and a cafe, and I want it to look like that again. But I keep thinking, if I take the time to do that, see, what happened was it took me until March or so to really get out of my flipping out about losing the owl, and then I went and looked at it, and then I just lost it and said, well, we talked about starting a business, so I should go look for a place that I could run a business in. And I went out, and then I also looked for a backup job. And then it turned out the backup job would have taken up a lot of time, and the place I was looking at had a lot of problems. A friend of mine went there with me and pointed out a lot of stuff that really went. I was, in your funk, it's good to take somebody with you that is not in a funk to see things you might not want to see, because you just want to escape. And it's not like I love where I live, but I just wanted to change and opportunity to do something new. And this had a living accommodation and the potential for a storefront, which I started thinking, well, sometimes a storefront gives you more opportunity than just online. Then you have the best of both. And I could run anything out of it. It had a pretty good location. But then again, where it was on the outer areas, it might not have been. And it would have cost me, oh, I got an itchy nose. It would have cost me double of what I pay now. It, uh, and then there was other things that might have increased. And I have land in the country. I could have stored some stuff that, but the parking there might have been a problem. Like there was storefront parking and there was parking in the back, but in the back kind of carried riffraff and maybe things that could have occurred there. So that wouldn't have been a very good thing. But what it did for me, and I lost my rent money because I was getting ready to go there, and then I just changed my mind, and the things going on in the world had made me decide to maybe not do that, because it's better for me to live in the country in uncertain times than it is to live in the city in the way my being is. For me, I can survive in the country if everything goes weird easier than I could in the city at everyone's mercy. I'd be at the landlord's mercy. Where here I could just hook up a generator and like have a campfire or something. So that's how I was looking at things, or grow a garden. So I backed out of that. But what it did for me, and what I did in my mind, was I took that rent money and I said, well, that's life's tuition. You just learned a whole bunch of stuff from this week of going to that job interview and just and making the decisions on this property or this apartment, because it gave you a moment to become something else, a whole different job, a whole different living, a whole different place to live, a whole different everything. And I put myself in there. And because of my state, I could have done it without losing the money, but I just wasn't there. And it's okay. I mean, unfortunately, that money would have come in handy with what I want to do right now. But the universe made other things work to help me through that period of time. And allowing me to make changes and take a second career and go to school and give me some time to learn, and most importantly, fix my spine that I had some irritated discs and a disc that popped out of my back, and I hurt the tarsal tunnel, which is called, what is it called? Tom, Dick, and Harry. That's so funny. Screwed up my right foot, and these are all overdoing my body more than it's supposed to be. Sometimes the stuff on the days I used to do, I don't know if a lot of people could do what I used to do. And I took on a lot of it myself. Like, I didn't have to, but I always take on things as if they're my own, and I treat them with love and respect, and I want everything to be clean, and I want everything to look good. And it's frustrating when you leave, and I had some really good people I used to work with that had the same care and love as I did. And everyone gets older and everyone has to move on, and it's just not the same, and it's frustrating. And you come back and it's just like, it was like watching my sister's kids, and I'd clean the whole house up and everything, and it'd be mint when I left, and I come back and it's like, holy mackerel, what the hell happened here? And I just start all over again. I mean, with my sister's kids, that was a day later. It's just, and if it's not kept up, uh, it, it can fall apart. Especially like my house. I don't do that much here other than, like I don't make a lot of mess. I don't cook extensively, and but it does get dusty, and it mostly this became a dumping spot. Um, so but I'm just one person. I mean, could you imagine what it would be like if there were people coming in and out of here all the time, and cooking and activity, and my deep fryer going all the time with the grease building up on the walls, and whatever else. So I have to take so what I'm going to do with this character is first, look, I was talking about a story, creating a story. When you're creating a story, well, you need to create a setting. I mean, I can keep working like this, nobody would see it, but I think it does bring me down a little bit. And first you talk about the character. Well, making yourself improve is a good thing. I can't wait till the weight loss coffee comes, because of that. The mail's slow right now, but it should really help give me more pep, and maybe help with my body's recovery, because it's known to do some really interesting benefits for the body. And I've been off it for a while, so I could really use that right now. And the second thing is the setting of the story. You know, you got the person, you got the place, and then what the theme is, and then the activities that occur in the character's life in the settings. This is just one setting. Then I have my property setting, and then I have my wherever I go setting. But like the internet, this is my domain. This is the house, the kingdom that I built. And that's hard for me too, because I'm between worlds with that as well. I keep wanting to be on the property, and Robert keeps telling me, the owl kept telling me, you need to just get your trailer over there, something over there, so that you can spend some time there. Because if you're not spending time there, it's not going to take off, you know? And he's right about that. Just like when I started my motorsport business, I thought about it, but it wasn't until those motorsport little Hummers came in off the truck, and I started getting hands-on involved with them even before I thought of putting them on the market. Touching them, feeling them, and learning how they work, and everything got me even more and more excited, and out of nowhere it just started happening. So doing things on a small scale and just allowing them to grow naturally, the universe will really give you a hand in whatever it is you're trying to achieve. And so I gotta decide one thing that got in the way, and I'm not sure if the universe did that on purpose or not, was if I would have done my original plan last summer, and if the MTO didn't cancel my driveway, I'd be already in a little shack on my property, and I would have owed a debt, not too badly, but it probably would have gone up to about 20 grand right now with what I would have had to do to get it in place. But maybe it stopped, things might have stopped it. I don't know, I could have. So now I'm just a little bit in debt, still, with some bringing the gravel in there, but mostly I'm free to do what I want to do. I still have to find ways to pay for some things, and some things have their little ways of coming through when they're needed to. And most importantly is my body. That I keep telling myself, you need time to recover your body, or you're good to nobody if you're no good to yourself. And actually, every day I say it's getting better. And it's so funny. It's still getting better. I was thinking last year it was so shot. And at that time I said, oh, I'm feeling better. But fuck, if I was to compare right now to that time I thought I was feeling better, or even back to January or back to March, it's a joke. And I'm interested to see what it's going to be like by October. You thought you were better in June? Well, you're so much better in October. Yeah, there's lots of nervous system stuff going on in me, and I could feel there's numbness in my toes, and but but I won't. I take the Joe Dispenza philosophy, and I keep saying that I don't have that all this is healed, and I keep healing it in my mind. And there's some weird stuff going on, in my neck. It runs from my neck right to my baby toes on my right side, through my spine. But that is all like kind of fixing itself. Some days I don't feel it at all, and other days it's like, holy mackerel, what's going on? So who knows? And in some way, I don't want to find out what's going on with me, because the less I know in some ways, the better. Because everything's about belief, and everything is about mentality and mentalness. I know just by diet and mentality and changing, if the problem is that life's taking a toll on you by your activities that you keep doing, and you see it around you from others who have done similar hours and physical labor, that okay, well, that has to go. You like the money, and you love the people, and you love the job, but there's other things you can do, maybe even better. You have to do a process of elimination to make a change in your life, and replace one thing with another. And it's kind of it's sad. It's like relationships, people get hurt, people break up, but eventually you replace somebody or something, and people are irreplaceable, but you can't help if they die. Like, what are you gonna do? You have to keep going, and they wouldn't want you sad. Me, sometimes I think I'm better off by myself. The only way I work with somebody is if they're a solo thinker like me, or really have a lot going on in their life, and hobbies and projects, and they're very independent, and whole and complete in themselves, that they're not needy or need to find any kind of fulfillment through another person, that they're completely fulfilled on their own. Another person is just adding to their equation, but they'd be okay either way. That is really important to me in a partner, if I am going to have one, because I don't want to become that partner's slave. I've been in some domestic situations where all of a sudden you're thrown in, come do this, come do that. I'm just, what am I? Am I your best friend and your lover, but somehow I'm turned into your housekeeper and your cook and your maid? I didn't even do that for myself, let alone do it for another person. And I don't mind. I really don't mind doing that stuff when it's from feeling good, and I'm just doing it naturally. Because I am a good cook, and I take care of shit really well when everything's going good. I mean, then it's like, okay, well, I'll do all that stuff, and you're taking care of me, cool. But I still want to do my life, and but when that's all you become, that is not what I want to be. and I will not be that. Uh, so where was I going with this? I guess I'm working on a lot of pains and things that have occurred, but the owl and the twin were actually very good like that, except there was some stuff with the twin because we mirrored so much. We had a couple things to work on. Mia had to work on trusting in what we could accomplish together. We could have accomplished anything together. We had such amazing energy. Anything would have been possible. And I was just afraid. And he had to work on accepting my charisma and knowing that I was just solid with him, no matter how people might have been attracted to my personality and thought it was cute and whatever I don't know what it is, but that it's just it should be more a compliment than an insecurity or a threat. So that was something that my twin needed to work on. So I guess he's out doing that, or maybe he's finding somebody who's more passive submissive or something, or needy and insecure. But I'm not that way. I'm confident, and I need a confident partner. But it's hard too, because when I look for a confident partner, there's two leaders, and somebody always wants to dominate. Or, well, it's not that I want to dominate. I just feel like I get dominated. I guess some of this male testosterone. But with the owl, I never had that problem. We were best friends, and we did our own thing, and we were just like the friend you hang out with every day and share your day with, and nothing made each other jealous, and nothing made each other feel like it was awesome. It was probably one of the best experiences I had in my life. And this person was 22 years older than me. It's a shame. And I'm glad he got to experience someone who really loved and appreciated him for him and not his money. I don't know. I don't know if you... I don't know how to explain that. Just like me. Sometimes I want to be appreciated for who I am and not what I do. You know, but I think everybody wants that. So today I'm going around my house. I should flip the camera, and we're gonna have a diary memory of all this. Let's see, can you flip the camera? Not really. All right, this is my work desk. It's gotten cluttered. It is not very tidy. I still have a dog bed from my companion's dogs. Got to get rid of that. Then there's the big mess in the kitchen. You can't really see it when I'm working, but it's not bad. It's just crap I've thrown everywhere. This area is always kept pretty nice, but in the last week, it's gotten messy. So here we go. Well, you have to remember I packed up my whole house, and then I started unpacking again. And I still have to unpack some boxes. The owl stayed in here, and I just threw everything. This was his study. He just kept his clothes in here, and he kept a chair and a desk. Yeah, and my room isn't atrocious. Look at that. It's just bad. I just don't even make the bed. So that is yeah, same. It looks terrible, but it's not that terrible. And the bathroom is brutal, and so I'm doing this to shame myself, I guess. And it's in this room, I had to move everything from the owl's room into here. I just threw it all in here. It used to all be perfect and organized. I think that's when it all started. Yeah, I think moving that whole room and doing that uh, room renovation, I was so concerned and I wanted everything so perfect for my companion that that's all that mattered to me at the time. And then we had Christmas, and then 22 days after New Year's, he was no longer with me. And yeah, just and going through some other stuff and seeing things were hard to. Uh, it was difficult, but I'm strong. I'm really strong, and I didn't take it too personal, and um, I just okay. Not to just disregard or devalue anything, but the best thing for me to have done March onward was to just go, let's pretend our relationship didn't change. We had a beautiful friendship, and let's pretend that he didn't move in here and that you just had this beautiful, solid, growing friendship, and now you need to carry on. I know in my heart, um, I won't let go of the beautiful things that we shared. From that point forward, however, that is what got me through till now. Um, to accept it, and as time goes on, then I can pull that back into my picture. Um, yeah. Yeah, and it's hard too because we had a lot of plans. We were supposed to go to Kenora this summer and look at property and go to the festivals, and I was supposed to spend some time on the lake with him in the boathouse, and I was supposed to go to school this fall and start a business, and we were going to travel and go to Buenos Aires, and we were supposed to do that last winter, actually the actual week that he left this world. So it's probably, and I really didn't want to go on that trip that year. Something told me it was better to wait till the following winter, and everything for a reason, I guess. Um, but there's so many stories I could tell about my experience with this person. Beautiful, awesome, enlightening stories. And it was fun watching him uh, go through his experience as well. Um, but it just took me by surprise. And all the things that I know that could have occurred, I just let everything go. I could have kept his dogs and have probably had the best life. um, but I'm not a dog person, and I I love them very much. But I wanted them to have the best life. Um, I know that um, I know they're gonna have a good life, and I'm not gonna just take pets that I'm not 100% a pet person for any other reasons. It's just not my nature. So life goes on, and I know they're gonna be super happy. Like, he used to spoil them with steak, and he was so great with them. And just the little girl dog, my gosh, she used to have this sound, and she cried all the time. She was like a spoiled princess, and she taught me a lot, and so did the older male dog. And he, I look back now, and he sat by me the night before all night. Like, I used to smoke downstairs in the basement, and that night he didn't want to go back up after his last night pee. He stayed beside me until I went to bed while I was doodling and drawing, and I don't know, there was so much, even the nature and things I would draw or see his pictures, it was all telling me a story. And I don't really think when I draw, I just kind of draw from another realm or something. And they just evolve. It's something works through me, I guess. But anyways, so he started minimizing his life and going into a new character or something. I guess people know certain things and they don't know what they know. And yeah, so now I'm gonna create my setting for my story and then start building in the activities. I have so many ideas. That's the hard part. I've been working on a lot of ideas and writing and whatever. And I should have had this setting in place. But so much has happened and so much has set me back that I'm just behind that way. And now I just got to get at it. Maybe this inspired you. I mean, we go through a lot of crap. A lot of things look bad at the time, but if you make a shift and a change, it just takes making a decision. You make a decision, you stick with it, no matter how it looks, because it's gonna look hard sometimes, but if you stick with it, even if the decision you make doesn't follow through completely, at least you made it change. It'll change towards something else. You gotta stop something and throw yourself in a new story idea and then allow it to go enough time to get away from the thing that you needed to change, and then you can see where you kind of where you're at after a couple months, and then you can go from there. You can keep going in the story that you're building, or you can make some new adjustments and changes. Nothing's ever set in stone. Everything can be adjusted and adapted as you go. But so long as you have the big picture in mind, even if it's just knowing you have to change for... Actually, you ever hear those stories? The biggest changes come from something occurring. If you don't make a decision, the universe will make something happen to force you to make that decision. I didn't want that to happen to me. I didn't want to get sick or end up in the hospital or end up in an accident or something to force me to change. And so I decided to do it myself. And I think one of the hardest things is you worry. Oh, I gotta get my composure. I don't do that very often. But you worry about letting people down, or I take on a lot of responsibility in this world for everything I do. And like the owl, we always give a hoot. That was our big thing. So you make yourself you carry a lot of load, and you have to say, look, I walked into something helping, but that wasn't mine. I helped as long as I could, and now I have to do my own thing. And where I left will always be love. And I'm sure everything's moved on, as I've watched many times people come and go. It carries on, and it's no biggie. So why do we carry on stuff in our hearts and minds and feel bad when the world carries on? So
if we could get that out of our mind and know that when we shift, we're like marbles, and when we go to another spot on the board, something else goes into the spot where we were. And just in a few weeks, it all subsides. So if that happens, um, in that setting, then why do we carry it into our new setting? And I have to let that go. I have, and it was easier too because I've been off for a long time and because of what's going on in the world. But I have to. But once in a while, it comes in and haunts me or makes me feel bad. And I also may have to make some changes here too, because everything's connected. And whatever someone else is going through, if their vibration's really close, it affects you as well. So that's why I bought property. I don't even know if 9.7 acres is enough to distance myself from other vibrations around me. That's why it's good to pick good neighbors. But I have a really good setup here and a very loving, caring landlord who's been like a father to me, family. So, but he's going through some stuff too with his partner, and it's really hard having to let go, and there's nothing you can do about it. So everyone goes through something, and I have to be responsible, and no matter what, keeping my emotions in check. I let them go a little bit here, but normally I hold them together pretty good. But yeah, so today's a release, I guess. But it was really supposed to be a video about creating a new character and getting your setting in a nice, creating the backdrop of your theater, and then putting all the props in place. Life is a book and a movie. So that's what I'm going to work on this week. Take a break and get shit in order.